on Rise and Shine, weekdays 6 till 9 Central African Time on Channel Africa.
It's time now for one of our regular features. Every day at this time, we go around the continent to a particular region and take a look at some of the stories that have been playing out there. And today, we turn our attention to West Africa and take a look at some of the key political and economic developments that have been unfolding in the region. In Ghana, efforts are underway to reduce a staggering $2.5 billion debt owed to power producers. Meanwhile, regional leaders have met up under the West African Gas Pipeline Committee to accelerate energy under the West African Gas Pipeline Committee to accelerate energy collaboration. And in Liberia, political tensions continue to simmer there following the resignation of House Speaker Fonati Kofa. And also there's been a symbolic victory for heritage in Benin, which has received the return of a royal chair looted more than a century ago that was held in Finland. To help us unpack what these stories mean, we're now joined by, as I said, political scientist and international risk expert, Dr. David Matshanga. Always good to talk to you, Dr. Matshanga. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Always good, Dr. Matshanga. So let's start in Ghana. The government there is working to reduce this staggering $2.5 billion in debt owed to power producers. How did this debt accumulate to such an amount, and what impact has it had on the energy sector and the economy?
First of all, it is very sad. I don't know whether you are hearing me.
Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Matshanga.
First of all, it's very sad for a country like Ghana to reach such a status. A country that has struggled so much not to go under. You remember Ghana had a very bad record with IMF. It had a bad record with World Bank. It almost reached a point of no return. And it shows to you that most of the African countries are vulnerable. They are vulnerable to problems that are coming to destroy the same Africa. So if this is what is going to happen, then we must all be prepared across Africa that some things could work in a way that we don't want at all. Hello?
We can hear you now, Dr. Matshanga. All right.
Are you hearing me
now? Yes, I can hear you. I just wonder if there are credible steps in place to actually fix this problem and meet this year-end repayment goal, or is this more political posturing ahead of elections?
I think it was. Every president in Africa tries to give his own manifesto. And that manifesto gave a lot of President Mahama, a lot of powers, a lot of persuasive language to win an election. But after elections, it is very rare for any government to deliver upon its own manifesto pledges. So I think it is going to happen. They are trying to find out how they can come out of this fix, because the people are really very eager to have their manifesto, to have their pledges fulfilled.
So West African nations recently convened under the West African Gas Pipeline Committee. Do we know what the main outcomes of this meetings were? And what can they do collectively, do you think?
I think what we can do is what Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have decided to do. All these gas pipes, all these gas natural resources on the West African coast are manipulated by one country, one company. You know, wherever you see such things like a gas, you smell Total oil. you are smelling Total oil from very far, and yet it's very near. So we have that problem there, my brother. It is one of the biggest problems that Africa is facing today. It faces these challenges, and these challenges are the ones that have brought our continent to where it is and to the level of having difficulties in fighting neocolonialism that keeps on coming through the ventilators, through the windows, and it is with us. But their resolution was, how do they come together and harness this type of venture so that it doesn't bring me more difficulties? You are aware that all these things around the Delta State, you and I have done a lot on the Delta States, the commotion there, the killings there, the fighting there, the banditry there. Around that coast, there is quite a lot that must they discuss on that day.
Turning our attention to West Africa, to Benin, a royal chair that was looted during colonial times has been returned by Finland. I wonder what you see as the significance of this specific artifact for Benin.
Let me tell you, Peter, Finland is also now becoming one of the aggressors in West African politics. Finland has been very quiet, but of late Finland has taken a very serious capitalistic approach. You are aware that Finland is already encroached into Cameroon. Now, this artifact they are bringing was ours. But one of the problems that we have is that when they bring these artifacts, they bring it with conditions. Yet they took it without conditions. And this is one of the things that African countries must wake up and stand and say, enough is enough. Why do you bring it with conditions when you took it out without conditions? And it is yet is ours. We've lost millions and millions of dollars out of this. If we had it, we can even put it on any stock exchange. You have loans out of it. People come and see it. Finland is one of the countries. If you can read the story of why they are chasing oil and gas in West Africa and Cameroon against the human rights, you cannot believe it, Peter.
Are we going to see more and more European countries, do you think, returning artifacts such as these? And some of them are probably in private hands and we may never see them.
Yes, we are going to see them. Some of them are going to hide them. You remember there was one country that brought Ghana. It gave Ghana conditions. It was Britain. Say you have to see it for a short time and return it. Oh! Look, Peter, this should not be allowed. Africans should not allow this. Africans should say, no, enough is enough. If you are returning these artifacts, return them, give them to us. They are ours. You see, it is another story developing, Peter, which we must be very careful about. It links up to the story of the land reform, of which you and I, we found each other almost at blows. You have forgotten that story. It was a very good experiment of Mugabe saying, this is our land. And then they said, whose land was it? It was ours. We go out. This type of return on conditions is not very good. If they have returned, some are going to start running. Many Africans are going to start demanding these artifacts that were stolen, taken forcefully from the chiefs. And now they are traceable. And that is very good for the archaeologists who have done all this to make sure that they are traceable where they went.
All right, let's go to Liberia now, where Fonati Kofa has resigned as Speaker after months of legal and political wrangling there. What led to his resignation, and what does this signal about internal divisions within Liberia's ruling establishment?
Liberia's ruling party has been, riddled with factions. And I think the current chairman, president, has not run the party properly. He's not like a leader, a collective leader, a leader who takes decisions from all sides. So it has put him into terrible confusion with parliamentarians, with infighting, not unlike Man Salif, who was one of the best people to run that country so far after the war. This man is even thinking of bringing, I think I was doing a program with your sister at the station there, and where we said, why do you bring a tribunal today when Liberia finished the war a long time ago? Why do you want a tribunal? Why do you want to create a new tribunal to look for what? Which we did not get. We got it through Taylor. Taylor is serving 53 years in Britain. Why do you now bring another, situation where you want people to start talking about something which ended a long time ago? You are going to open up the wounds. And those are the wounds now coming out to Peter through the parliament. Some people are not very happy with bills that have been brought to think about the war. The wound has healed. You want to open up the plaster when it is not completely healed. Let the wound heal. 50, 40 years to come, then you can talk about it as history.
All right. And then perhaps finally, Borno State, Nigeria, has been sadly an area where we've seen insurgency, Boko Haram and other militants. And we're seeing reports that 5 soldiers were killed on Tuesday at 2 army bases. You're a political risk, international risk expert. Why is Nigeria failing to deal with this insurgency? And will it escalate, or will they find a solution?
Peter, Nigeria is a country that makes me sad, and it will make you sad. This is not Nigeria that we saw under the leaders when you and I used to fly there as a veteran journalist. This is a country that has gone down completely in terms of rule of law. Every time you open television in Nigeria, my dear brother, there is a kidnap 200, 300, 400, 10 people died. Dead. Nigeria has got a very huge army, but very useless army. It turns on hunting down civilians. The most of the army in Nigeria, Peter, has been turned on civilians of Biafran side on the southeast to go and torture civilians there, instead of coming back, all of them in a united front to face Borno State, Maiduguri. All those northern parts of Nigeria are gone. They have been infiltrated by Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram. We know who these owners of ISIS and Al-Qaeda are. Last week I told you, these are not very far. In East Africa, we know them. They wear uniforms that resemble a uniform of another country across the Red Sea, up in Qatar. Why haven't we apprehended these guys? Why haven't we told the leaders, we want you to talk to us? Nigeria should ask African Union, the United Nations, that this problem that they have in their state is beyond their means of their army to protect civilians. And in fact, everywhere, not only in that state, in every part of Nigeria, they are total kidnapped, they are herders with guns. Where they came from, Nigeria has 20 million cows, but it has more problems than India that has got 300 million cows.
All right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Matshanga, thank you so much. We've run out of time, sadly. Always great talking to you. Thanks so much indeed for your powerful contributions there. That's Dr. David Matshanga, who is an international risk expert and political analyst, unpacking the stories in West Africa for us that have been playing out. Right now, though, it's time for your news headlines with Nolitando Butelezi.